Hello. Just getting started here. All right, I am putting a poll up, which is instead of having chat choose every single dialogue option in this game, which I think is going to get quite tedious quite fast, instead I am putting up this poll. Let me paste it in chat right here. You can see it on the left side of the screen. What we're going to instead do is vote on which dispositions, which personalities we're going to foster in this character. There are 10 of these personalities in Pillars of Eternity, and most of them have, they come up every once in a while, pretty often actually. So whenever there's a dialogue choice, there's usually one or more of these. Hey Ryan, welcome. I wish I could just listen to this theme music forever. This is a list of personalities that exist in this game that we are... I'm going to put this out as a poll for chat to choose which personalities we want to develop with this character. Instead of choosing every single dialogue option individually as chat, I want to still give chat this opportunity to help develop the character, but in this broader sense of what personality traits do we want to work towards. And that has real game consequences as well. If you develop a reputation in a certain personality, characters will react to you differently or maybe give you more options. Once again, in text, here is the list again. We can go ahead and just vote by typing a number. All right, let's load up our save and get going. Yeah, the bot doesn't react when you vote, but I see the vote for 7. You're good. All right, so here is our intrepid and now very alone hero, Danbron. We lost our 2 caravan party members in the windstorm. We survived thanks to plot armor, as it happens. we saw this strange machine being operated by a man in a mask and robes who sacrificed 4 other people to it in some sort of ritual that we did not understand at all, but it seemed very mystical, and people died. And now we're here, and they're gone, and we are majorly fatigued, which is reducing our health. When I say health, the game word is endurance. That is the in combat. Okay, let me slow down. Let me explain this in a good way. Pillars has 2 different health meters. You have endurance, which is on a per combat basis. So right now, Danbron has 40 maximum endurance. Hey, Super Blind Man, welcome! You're here! We have 40 maximum endurance, which means we can take, at most, 40 damage in a single combat before being knocked out. However, we have also 212 health, which also gets depleted when we're hit in combat, but is more of a per rest basis, so we have more of it, but it doesn't regenerate after combat like endurance does. It's very complicated. The point of that is that we have major fatigue, which is reducing our endurance by 25%. So we need to rest. I don't really want to rest here, although we do have the ability, because that is... it seems risky. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and travel to our next location, the Vale Wood. That's V-A-L-E, wood.
Who's tired? Just
yes.
me?
You are tired. I understand. Super Blind Man, one thing that I am doing with this stream is I am going to give chat the option to pick our personality or personalities that we develop with the character instead of picking every single dialogue option. So there are 10 different personalities you can develop over the course of this game. I'm just looting a dead body I found in this next area. No big. There are 10 personalities, and if you develop them over the course of the game, characters will react to you in different ways. You might get different opportunities during the quest based on what personality reputation you have. So they can matter quite a bit, as well as just in individual dialogue events. Turning off all the voices. I would not do that to you. Yeah, so there are 10 of these. I have a poll set up where you could just type a number or a series, different messages with different numbers in chat to indicate which personalities you would like to see our hero Danbron develop. I just ran into a wolf. This is an incredibly slow fight. Oh my gosh, finally got it. Alright. I should really not be wandering off the road here. That is a bad idea for me in this state. Let's get back on the road. We can explore this area later. What? What? An outlaw on the road? That shouldn't be allowed. You know, ironically enough, I do enjoy real-time combat. Almost as much, if not more than turn-based, I would say. Although, fun fact, in the sequel to this, in Pillars of Eternity 2, they do have a turn-based mode, if you really prefer that. Which seems like it would be very hard to develop the same combat system effectively entirely twice. But they did it. Yes, you're not in it, so it is inferior. Oh, have we made it? We made it through the area. Alright. We are going to travel to the village of Gilded Vale, which is where we were heading initially. I apologize for not describing that area very well. I was thinking about personality stuff. That was a very dismal, sort of scrubby. There was a small stream, not very deep. A few trees, but not enough to really do anything. A dirt road. Didn't meet any people besides that one outlaw. The time it takes to travel from that to here was 8 hours, so it's actually like... it's the middle of the night by now. Hopefully there's an inn or something. And we have a cutscene. We're walking down into the town square where a giant gnarled tree...
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
There's a huge tree in the center of this town square that has a lot of people hanging from it that have been hanged. There are also villagers gathered around, and one man has approached us. A man approaches you, his skin as dull and gray as the desolate village behind him. He glances at the gnarled, leafless monstrosity of a tree next to him. Do you welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
He appraises you over half-moon spectacles and scratches his chin. No.
Are you absolutely certain? Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly toward the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
You said something about Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy? Unvoiced. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon the Deerwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows. But they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. I see. Lord Radric's decrees may seem strict at times, but he has our best interests at heart. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everyone in Gilded Vale understands our rules. Before I got here, I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Engwithan ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Barath have mercy, we certainly have. I don't think so. Just as they finished, there was a Buick. The captioner thought I said Buick like the car. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. If you'd been that close to a Buick, you wouldn't be standing here. Well, I've been feeling strange ever since that close call with the Buick. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
All right, then.
Keep out of...
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed.
He looks out toward the east, his expression unreadable. He blinks slowly and turns his attention back to you.
3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy has struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Barath must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. What happened? He shrugs one bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps. But that is not your concern. So, does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. Farewell. All right. Well, that was a cheery welcome. We've completed our quest to make it to Gilded Vale. And we should go find that inn. A villager standing nearby says, "Things are bound to get worse now." So that's comforting. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
The others, 2 folk men and an elven woman, don't look convinced. I will say nothing. One of the other men glares at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. You've got a lot of gall mocking us in our own village. We don't take ill treatment from foreigners, especially not Edirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
A collective cry of outrage rises from the three locals.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
Yeah, so this is one of the two major NPCs in this game, voiced by Matt Mercer.
That's where you're wrong.
I'm staying out of this one. They round on you, their eyes full of scattershot rage. Oh no, you don't, foreigner. Combat! Combat with unarmed drunks. Oh no, they have daggers. I feel a little... Oh my god, they all died in 1 damage. He started chanting that damage over time thing, and it did 1 damage, and they all collapsed. As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face. We have a portrait of this elf. He has long, black, straight hair, with that sort of widow's peak that you see from Lord of the Rings style elves. And in his portrait, he has one hand up towards you, cradling a ball of glowing purple energy.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
Yes, he is a very elfy elf. You mean for slaughtering them? You're welcome.
Well, that is one way of putting it.
He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
How did you manage to get stuck out here? He laughs uncomfortably. That is something of a long story.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Eder Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
Well, I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
I will say nothing. A slow smile creeps across his face. A man must have his secrets. Very well. Just how did you manage to cross those 3 drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Eder like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go bleep his sister. I forgot that the text of this game does have curse words in it. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I see. For which I am grateful. Let's discuss something else, shall we? What are you doing in Gilded Vale?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Ooh, the email with Matt Mercer. That's awesome. Gonna be around, yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go for another hour, maybe hour and a half. My goal with these streams is to do 90 minutes to 2 hours at a time. And you? Says Aloth. Like you said, I'm also a settler.
Indeed. In that case, welcome to Gilded Vale, a true refuge from civilization.
Well, you don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
Well, I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
He gives you a guardedly hopeful look. So do I. Let's go, then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Aloth has joined the party. We get to loot these poor people's clothes and sticks. One of the best parts about this game is that when you do loot a human body, it does take the clothes off of their little model on the ground. So now there's just 3 people in their boxers on the ground. Let's go into the inn. The Black Hound is the name here. There are some patrons standing around. There's a nice big stained glass window on the right here, in front of the bar, which is it's quite a big bar actually. This is a good-sized place. The bartender is named Pasca.
Well met, friend.
Greetings, and welcome to the Black Hound Inn. Her bark was different than her scripted line. Please, sit where you like. Would you like a drink? Or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of a good meal today. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. You only serve porridge? Aloth looks at you and shakes his head quickly. It isn't by choice, I assure you. We used to serve some of the finest meals in the Deerwood. We've had a damnable run of luck, is all. It's been a bad season for the crops, and we're running low on supplies. I sent Tenfrith up north to stock up. Tenfrith's our cook, you see. An artist with a good roast. But it's been days since he was supposed to return, and we haven't seen any sign of him. I've only just taken over from the last owner myself. I don't know what I'll do if he doesn't turn up. I see. What can I do for you? I'd like a room, please. Of course. We keep them nice and tidy. So when you go to an inn in this game, you get to choose what level of luxury you'd like. We have 254 copper. There's a free room, which is just a common sleeping area. Then there are 2 rooms that are private we could pay for and would give us skill bonuses for the next day or 2 after resting there. I'm just gonna go for the common room for now because we don't have that much money. Resting is also the time when we get to deal with our stash inventory, which is useful. Just going to move a couple things around here. We have a couple of potions that I'm going to put in for use during combat. Lockpicks I'll keep. I don't remember if lockpicks count whether they're in your stash or not. I think they count even if they're in the stash. But better safe than sorry. And as we rest, we see a vision of that row of Adra stones again, wreathed in purple auras. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken, and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Quest updated. Find the dwarf woman from your dream. So that's cheery. Let's explore the inn a little bit, see if there's anything to do in here. You're a listener. I guess it doesn't quite have the same ring to it. We're just taking some stuff off the tables in the bar. It's not stealing, because the game isn't telling me that it's stealing. So that's fine. There's a special mouse cursor option when you're in a container that the game thinks is stealing. You can do it stealthily, but you might get caught. And that lowers your trustworthiness. There's some bedrooms up here. Not extremely interesting.
It's no trouble.
Oh, this one I can lockpick. The cabinet I can just
Hope
open.
that helps.
It has a rapier, some padded armor, and a duelist's hat. So I'm just taking somebody's things. There was a book on the table. The loading screen image for Gilded Vale is very bleak. There's a ruin in the center of town, crumbling stones and dead trees all around it, which is a lovely image to see. Hey, I didn't close the poll. I guess it must have a timeout. Oh well. I may find a better way to do that than in-chat voting. He did enjoy picking that lock. Maybe he's secretly a thief at heart. It's really having a think about loading Gilded Vale. There we go. Oh, it's raining. Perfect addition to this town's dreariness. Alright, let's go back to the hanging tree. The dwarf woman's body now has that purple aura around it. And her name is Caldara de Beranzi. Very Italian. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thick, crooked bough that sags at the tug of the noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it. Not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them. Know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
What do you mean, when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
I think I survived a Buick. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
You said souls can break apart over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
I want to know more about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
What happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. Of course, dear.
Alright, I think I'm looping back through dialogue, and I don't have anything else to say. Farewell, Caldara.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes, and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. We have been granted the ability Crucible of the Soul. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Yes, I'm fine. He folds his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you can tell me what that was all about? Well, I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. And I expect that explains your earlier reticence about your experience in the ruins, hmm? In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions, as you just demonstrated. We have both leveled up.
17 and a half.
Quest complete. Visions and Whispers. A new quest to find the Watcher Merwald. And there's a blonde, short-haired blonde man standing outside of the square where the hanging tree is, and he just said 17 and a half. The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-colored hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman.
I'm sorry? The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta. What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Aloth frowns. Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Eder. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
What makes you think I was interested in that dwarf woman? He looks at you a moment, his brow arched. His smirk broadens.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
Impossible. I don't drool half as much. Ha! So you're already familiar. Still, you'll have to forgive my curiosity. Round here we prefer to turn a blind eye to our dead. Well, I've been out of sorts lately. Of course. We all got our bad days when we stand perfectly still and stare at corpses for a while without blinking. He winks. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
None taken. Good. I don't mean it personal when the hang folks here. I have to remind myself.
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Aethys. Overthrows Raid Saris, marches on Deerwood, so we gave him a Deerwooden hello. What's a Deerwooden hello? We blew him up. He smiles at this, but it is the smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Why was your headman hanged? You got involved. Radric sent men down here the other day. Said they had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kolsch, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on the tree. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. What does your town have against you? He shrugs. Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there was a temple to him, to give you some idea.
Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me.
He looks up at the tree, his eyes trailing one of the swaying bodies. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Radric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing. Aloth glances at you and lowers his voice. You can see why I was eager to leave. Well, Eder, if you're next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? He gives a half smile. Drinking, mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Widewind's legacy started with Widewind. Well, we could travel together. Where are you headed? Some place called Cadnua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath.
Something kindles in Dare's eyes, and the vigor of purpose finds its way into his voice. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before.
Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Matt Mercer is very good. It's really awkward in these conversations when half the lines are voiced and half aren't. Aloth, there's a fine reason if I ever heard one. Eder, alright then, guess I'll do some sightseeing. He glances briefly at the tree. Long as you're not the one picking the sights. He tilts his head forward and gives you a pointed look. Let's get going. Now we have 2 Matt Mercers. I'm actually going to head back north of town to the area that we ran through while exhausted. Because there's some stuff to find up there that will be better when we have 3 party members instead of one, like 2/3 of one person. I was very thankful that the entire dwarf woman animancer conversation was voiced, because I did not want to attempt that accent for the life of me. There's a man here with a tent by the small stream. He says, "Damn thing, come on."
Welcome.
"Greetings," he says, a little breathless. "On your way south, is it?" This man appears to be hurriedly dismantling his camp in quick, jerky movements. He wipes his brow, turning to face you. "The sooner you're clear of these woods, the better, I think." "What's your hurry?" The man looks down at the tent and then at his hands. "I mean to follow my own advice. Came out here on a hunt, me and a friend of mine. Thought we'd bring a stag home, eat something other than bread for once. Came up on a bear instead. Great, monstrous thing. And Pearly, he didn't make it." He shakes his head. "I don't know what I'll tell his wife. In any case, this forest's already cost me a friend. I'm heading home before it takes anything else." "Where did you find this bear?" "In a cave, a ways up that way." He turns to point to the northwest. "I wouldn't seek it out if I were you. It was a great brute of a beast. Would hate to hear that it took another life." I'm not gonna ask about who he is. I don't really want to know. Let's explore. There's some ruins over here on the right. Oh, with a wolf in it. 2 wolves. 3 wolves. Let me make sure Eder and Aloth have their AI set. This game has a pretty simple AI. System for party members. It really encourages you to micromanage.
How may I help?
Those wolves should have spoken to the spirits of all the other wolves I've utterly demolished. Absolutely, we have taken down a lot of wolves. There's a wall here that is interactable. These aged walls appear to have once encircled this entire glade. Only a small fragment remains, and the stairs leading to the top of the structure have crumbled away. The heavy bricks are slick with moss, presenting a hindrance to climbing, but the stones themselves seem sturdy enough. Given the right tools, one might easily reach the top. The crumbling wall is of a considerable height even now, and its uneven surface promises a difficult climb. Who will scale it? So this is going to be an athletics skill check. I'm going to take a chance that Eder, our beefy fighter... Oh, yeah, I should say, Aloth is a wizard, Eder is a fighter. I'm gonna guess that Eder probably has the best athletics. Eder finds a handhold on one of the large stones and starts the climb. Despite a few loose rocks and awkward angles, Eder makes swift progress and quickly arrives at the top of the wall. Once there, Eder helps you up and over the side. Perfect. I do believe we have impacted the wolf population of this area. So there's a corpse up here who has leather armor, a fancy gloves that give +2 dexterity. I'll take that. Some camping gear, and a scrawled letter. I do not think you will ever see this, but you are right, Fulvano. We should have journeyed south together and been safer for it. I would tolerate all the gloating in the world if I might live to hear it. I have put myself out of reach of the beasts circling below, but I am done for, all the same. I do not think I will rise again. Whoever finds this, pray for me. Perhaps in the next life, I shall be a trapper of wolves. Well, it doesn't seem like you made it through this one. A couple of plants, and not really anything else to do up here. Yeah. Climbing down. I happen to know from playing before that if I go into stealth here, there's a hidden object for me to find. There's a loose brick in this wall that contains a cape that gives +5 to deflection defense, and a bunch of gems. I don't have a good enough stealth rating to notice things automatically without stealthing. But I want those objects. Alright, near where we fought that outlaw before, I see a bandit camp further off the path than that, with the cook from the inn that we went to. Tenfrith is there with them. The young dwarf tending to the stew looks up, startled as he sees you approach. He drops his ladle, spattering stew across the ground. What? The bandit turns. Get him, you dogs! And make sure our new cook don't run off! Help! Please, help! Ah! One of the bandits gives Tenfrith a kick as they pass him, and he huddles. So we have 3 bandits to fight. Nah, 2 bandits and 1 outlaw, rather.
Queth seal mesnitum. Stand together. I'm here.
I shall deal.
I'm gonna get to use that Thundershock spell twice. Twice in one combat.
Stand together.
Alright, we got him.
I'd be glad to.
Good day to you.
By the flame, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for these ignorant weasels for the rest of my life. Or until they were bored with me, I suppose. Did Pasca send you? She must be beside herself. I must get back at once. Listen, the next time you're in Gilded Vale, make sure to drop by the Black Hound. I'll let her know what you've done for me, and I'm sure she'll do right by you in turn. Oh, to be back at my oven again. Major positive reputation gain with Gilded Vale. How about that? These guys had some armor, some weapons on them, some coins, some Karogolin, which is like a tobacco chew. There's an entire, like, mechanic in this game of various drugs and chews and alcohols you can have. Found some fruits in a crate, some rice and meat. You can also cook in this game. Alright, we've looted their whole...
I'll see what I can find.
Nothing hidden. Let's see. So we've mostly explored the east. Let's go west of this map. The broken down cart has a hunting bow, some camping supplies I can take. Oh, the stream goes up to a nice little waterfall. Up a hill to the northwest. I'm gonna guess this is where that bear is. What do we got? A plant? Ah, it's a cave. Bear cave. It even gets its own location. The image here looks like a cave in the American Southwest. Not quite the aesthetic. Whoops, there's the bear.
Me too.
Oh gosh, the bear's hitting me pretty hard. Why aren't you hitting the fighter, bear?
Hey, I'm here. Sakri through.
Oops. Oh, it just knocked out Danbron.
Hey.
Why didn't you attack the fighter that had twice as much health?
Paranthus.
Well. Now you have a wrenched shoulder. Minus 25% attack speed, minus 2 strength. But we got a bear hide. And I can see the dead body of the person who died in here before, as well as a hidden thing. I didn't think there was a hidden thing in here. I should sneak everywhere. Well, we'll go right back to the inn and fix that up. The dead body had a glow hovering over it that indicated a soul I can interact with. A figure drifts, suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its form and features blur and twist in cascading ripples of incandescence. You feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with a heavy chill. You reach out a hand for the spirit. In the moment of contact, you feel as if you have been struck a blow, head reeling as you tumble helplessly into a waiting darkness. Light blooms at the edges of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know, suddenly, that you have come a long way from the Vale hunting deer. Now you are standing before a cavern, and the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides out before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow, heart hammering in your chest, as he leads you deeper into the cavern. There is a roar like thunder echoing around you. Fear seizes you, casts you stumbling back toward the exit, towards light and escape. You see a glint of steel, and there is a sudden terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lanced through with pain. But in a moment of terrible clarity, you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. And then there is a great, dark shape above you, and then there is more pain. The vision recedes, and you are thrown back into yourself with seemingly resentful force. The corpse lies at your feet, and the specter lingers. In the span of energy between you both, you feel a sense of questioning, of confusion, of anger. I met him on the road, your friend. A sudden, lashing anger emanates from the spirit. Rage and grief seem to pour from the gleaming figure like smoke. I'll find him and see that he answers for what he's done to you. For a moment, the spirit seems to burn bright, and your head fills with a sickly triumph. The spirit seems to weaken with the force of its own exultation, growing fainter and fainter, until you are alone once more. So that's that. It turns out that the friend was not... Well, he was killed by the bear, but not on accident. Now back outside, it's raining again, which is fun. I think we've explored all we can of this area. I'm gonna go back and find that guy. And of course he's gone now. His tent is still here and it has a letter in it. Folded note. My dear Naunton, please be safe. Know that whatever happens, I love you still. Let's head back to Gilded Vale and see if we can track him down. Let's see. Actually, let's go back to the inn first. We have a character to heal up. I think I may end up calling this stream a bit on the early side tonight. I can feel my voice starting to get scratchy. I don't want to overtax this, these vocal cords. This is my only talent.
Hail, traveler.
Pasta, the barkeeper. Hello and welcome to the... Oh, it's you. Tenfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. So what would you like? I'd like a room. The rooms are now much cheaper. So I'm gonna stay in the 83 copper room, which will give us +1 to perception and to mechanics for the next, I think until the next rest. I could have seen it and I completely forgot. Let's head back to the kitchen. Here's Tenfrith. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. We have gained the recipe, Savory Pie. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Thanks. I happen to know that there's also a hidden item in the kitchen, a potion, a spell potion. After this, you will eat nothing else. Mwahahaha. All right. Let's go find our traitorous friend. There's a few houses in this village that we can go into. There is the windmill, there is the smithy, and there are 2 villagers' houses. Afra, who is the sister of Kalisha, who was in the caravan with us, and Ingroed, who is the only character we haven't met yet. And Ingrid, I happen to know, is involved with our murderer. There they are. We can see them standing by the bed in this one-room house. There's no paved floor, it's all dirt. There's a fireplace lit. I can see a bag of rice on the table that looks like it's about to be shut up and packed. Some bottles on a shelf. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing 2 bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Good day, stranger.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nanton? Nanton coughs. Yes, I think we met in the Valewood. I warned him about the bear. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? I know what really happened in that cave, Nanton. The color drains from Nanton's face. I don't know what you mean. I told you the truth of it. Are you accusing him of something? Ingrid looks to Nanton, touching his arm. If this is about the accident, we're both grieving Pearlie's loss, but it was a wild animal's doing. Nanton shakes his head minutely. You see a tremble in his hands. What would make you suggest such a thing? I had a vision in the cave. I saw Pearlie's last moments as he lived them. I saw you cut him with the knife. That's not possible. Nanton stares at you. How could you possibly know? I left no sign. Nanton, wait. Ingrid raises a hand. I don't know what you saw in that cave, but this isn't what you think. Pearlie, my husband, he was as much a beast as that bear. I tried to leave the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. She looks away, her expression pained. Nanton, we met, and I knew I'd found someone special, someone kind who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. She looks down at the satchels. We have some coin saved up. You could have it if you'll only let us go. Oh boy. I'm gonna go for the brutal one here. No, whatever your reasons, you caused a man's death. I'm taking this to the magistrate. I don't know what you'd think you'd tell the magistrate. A story about a dream you had? But you won't take this from us. Not when we're so close, and not for that wretched Pearly. Nanton draws his blade. Well? Gosh. Everyone keeps attacking our protagonist. He keeps getting the aggro.
How mad?
Stand.
All right. Well, we got that. Quest complete. Yeah, Windows is upset about my battery life. It's fine.
At once. At once.
Let's see. Under their bed, they have camping supplies, a grappling hook, some spirits, and some tobacco. I have too many camping supplies and I can't take them. But I can take everything else. Let's see. I think that with where the quests and things are, I think I'm going to call the stream here for today. I know it's been a little shorter than I wanted, but hopefully we'll have a good long session next time, which will either be Friday or Saturday, depending on how scheduling goes. I will be in conversation on Twitter and Discord and such about that. Yeah, we have discovered a little bit more about how this strange stuff works for our hero. We've acquired 2 companions. We've been threatened. We've heard about the Hollowborn problem happening locally. We've heard about a lot of things. We communed with a hanging body.